Hello everyone, this is Jotto, and welcome to an early morning video, which is why the lighting is so strange. Yep, it is currently 8 in the morning over here. The reason I'm doing this video is because the ranked rating race season ladder. Did we ever figure out a name for it? This has just occurred to me. I know we're not supposed to call them seasons, because that's what the equivalent of blocks from Magic are in Spellweaver. Those are called seasons. So I guess rating races? Anyway, this month rating race, so that would be for the month of September, just ended. And some of you may know from past experience that I've got second twice in a row now. Well, no more. I actually got first this time. Yeah, no more forever second. So this video I'm going to go over the changes I made to the Advanced Never deck that lost one game since Asperia, basically. And it had a 90% win rate in the end on ladder. I've edited it a few times since Asperia, and on top of that I've got better at playing it, which means that I am actually fulfilling what the deck should be able to do now, to some extent. I'm still making a few mistakes. But I want to talk a bit about this ladder season in general, and how my experience of it relates to it, since I played close to the most out of people in top 10. I played like 115 games or something, which was a lot for this season. Per Helion, the guy who came second, who almost beat me, played like 40. And by almost, I mean it was ludicrously close. It was the hardest rating race I have ever taken part in because of that guy. To give you an idea, the points haven't changed because they do monthly adjustments, they don't do resets. So, the points haven't changed at all. This is as they were before the reset. Look at this. There is a 200-point gap between second and third, and a 3-point gap between first and second. Now, this was caused because yesterday, Perhelion was about 1640, and then I was at 1550, and I pushed for first. And I got up to 1620, and then he lost the game, he had to climb up again. But then, last night and this morning, yes, this morning, this fight between us ended 5 minutes before the ranked race, and it only ended because he didn't have enough time to win a game. I won my last game, I think like 2 minutes or something, not even 5, it was like 2 minutes before the reset. I won my last game, and got 3 points over him. Now, to give you an idea of how much we were winning between the two of us, just playing against other people, because every single time someone was rank 1, they stopped playing, and then the rank 2 us to try and get there. We played so much, we pushed the ladder to a 200-point gap. To give you an idea of how absurd that is, 200-point gap between third, so we're looking for, what, this is 1500, so we're looking for a 1300 rating. That's the same gap. Okay. We're looking at the gap between third and 21st is the same, roughly, as the gap between second and third. That's how far we pushed it. And because of just the monthly adjustments, it means that both of us cannot play for most of the season and stay at first and second. Thank you, current system. Yeah, we pushed it really hard between the two of us. It was kind of ludicrous. He's definitely the best ladder player I've ever had to compete against per Helion. And funnily enough, he actually beat me in Asperia, although I should have won that game. I made so many mistakes, it was ludicrous, which I already talked about in my tournament report. But yeah, we played against each other in Asperia, he beat me, then we basically competed against each other on ladder, and I barely beat him. And to be honest, this does not prove who is better in terms of laddering, because the only reason this competition ended with me winning was because I timed my last win to end just before the season ended. That was the only way I could stop him from playing another game and winning. So we actually had to time the last game, or at least I timed the last game, so that if I won it, I would get rank 1, and if I lost, I would get rank 2, but I was in no danger of getting rank 3, since the gap was so large. Now, besides that, besides the last day of the season, which I want to point out is the only enjoyable last day of the season I've ever had, because all the other ones have been miserable with bonus points, I want to point out this system, I have not figured out if it's better or worse than bonus points. Bonus points rewarded you for being bad at the game. You had people with 30% win rates in top 20. You had, you could just play the system and play 5 games a day with a 60% win rate and get rank 1. I know, because I did it with mono blue tempo. Like, it was just a broken system. This is a much more fair system. A couple strange points every so often. Like, for some reason, sometimes when you beat people high on the ladder, you like gain nothing. But it stabilized a bit towards the end of the season, especially. But I think the top 10, I would say currently, is not necessarily the top 10 best players in Spellweaver, but the top 10 best ladder players in Spellweaver, give or take. So if you look at these, you've got Bosch, Rajan, Chemesis, and Elion Bacchus. Like, I think, besides that, I think that maybe Clone should have been in top 10. I think that's about it. I would say that's about it in terms of the people that should have been in the top 10 but weren't. In fact, Clone dropped a lot. But besides that, for once, I can say that this is a ladder system that actually shows how much you tried at that ladder season. I want to point out that this was the hardest ladder race for me. In fact, it was so difficult that when the reset happened, I sent a message to Perhelion saying that, like, damn, that was crazy. Because it was so difficult to actually win this time. And so it's like my crowning achievement right now, and it's so much harder than winning in Asperia. It's so much harder than like even getting rank 1 with, honestly in the last 2 seasons I choked a bit on the last day of the season in terms of how I played, but I never felt challenged with rating races for the entire month. I just played 5 games a day and just kept ranking up, and I held rank 1 for like most of the season on the last 2 months. This time, I couldn't. I got to rank 2 again. It took me a long time. I was at rank 20. I had to climb up. I got to rank 2 at the beginning of this week even. And then I got rank 1 for the first time on Monday. And by beginning of this week, I mean like after the end of last week, so like Sunday, Monday, around there. So I got rank 1 for the first time on Monday. And then me and Perhelion were fighting over it for a day. And then yesterday and this morning, it was crazy. And it's the first time I felt really, really challenged on rating, and I haven't felt like I've been cheated out of a victory with the bonus points. Like, what I mean by that is last season I ran out of bonus points, and I had to go for best case scenario second because I knew that if I lost the game I would just lose because I didn't have bonus points. And the time before, it was more being forced to get rid of all my bonus points kind of dropped my rating a little bit relative to everyone else, even though it did go up slightly. It was weird, but it was just a quirky system. That, and because this is your actual rating now, it means that it's more accurate towards the end of the season. Towards the beginning of the season, it was so off, it was absurd. But, yeah, I would have said that if I came second this season, I think Perhelion deserved it. As I said, I don't think this result shows who's the better ladder player, because it really did just come down to timing. Like, I had to pull a stunt in the last 30 minutes of the race to get rank 1, which was timing a match exactly. Like, I started searching at quarter 2 because I knew that's how long roughly with the queue time and game to win a game, and I knew he couldn't retaliate. But honestly, I did not win just because I'm the better player. That's not how that worked. Like, I only won because it was my turn to play my game and win in the last 30 minutes, and I timed it properly. So it was more of a coincidence than anything else. But I'm very curious to see how the next rating race goes, because the point gap has remained, which means that, honestly, me and Perhelion could go on vacation for like 2 weeks as far as ladder goes and just not be overtaken at all, because we pushed the points so high that no one else can really catch it. Keep in mind that for most of the month, everyone was struggling to get above 1500, and we almost pushed it to 1700. So yeah, we pushed it really high, and as a result, I don't think I'm going to need to play I think I can stay in like top 5 for the next 2 weeks without playing. I want to see if this works, but I think that's how it's going to go. Anyway, so one other random thing about this ladder system: while it is fairer in terms of how it establishes people, it's also incredibly punishing. So punishing, in fact, that I would say it's not a fun ladder system. Now, there's a problem with this ladder system. It may reward consistency, and over a long amount of time, the variance in card games kind of goes away. But honestly, it's so punishing that it makes you want to not play enough games to get rid of the variance aspect. when you do get screwed over by variants. Because when you do get screwed over by variants, you lose 80 points. But then you don't realize that you're also winning 10% of your games to god draws or your opponent losing in that way. So it balances out, but it's so painful to lose to like shrine misses and things like that, that it really does break you. Like, honestly, the deck I'm playing right now, like, I have so much experience with it that I know exactly how to mulligan and when to Divine Offering and things like that. And I'm still losing like 1 in 20 games to shrines. I almost lost one this morning to shrines, and that would have lost me the entire rating system, like the entire rating race. But yeah, it's very punishing, and as a result, a lot of people stop playing ranked because it's just not fun anymore. So I think that they should have rating decay, make it less punishing, make the gap in the whole win-loss thing smaller, add rating decay, and then over time the better players will still go to the top, but the point is it won't punish you massively just for playing some ranks because you want to play some ranked. Like, that's what we're trying to avoid, right? We're trying to get a system where it's fun for everyone, and if you want to be ultra competitive, then you go for it. Now, this can be looked at in Hearthstone terms, where the ladder system is actually rewarding now because of the chest system. And if we look at the way Hearthstone's ladder is structured, for highly competitive players, the ladder in Hearthstone is the most boring abomination ever. Because legend rating is basically like this system, and rank 20 to 1, well, rank 5 to 1 is a grind, and then rank 20 to 5 is boring. That's for a highly competitive standpoint. However, the Hearthstone ladder system does one thing correctly. It appeases to the majority of players. Rank 20, well, technically 25 to 5, have win streaks. So if you're doing well, congratulations, you go up points, and it means that every so often you go up more points than you're losing. And if you have a 50% win rate, you slowly go up the ladder, and it's all good. Now, when you get to rank 5, it gets very punishing. However, not as punishing as this. Nowhere near as punishing as this. You can still, like, I had a 90% win rate at the end of the season, and I think Perhelion had something similar. I don't think he had a 90% win rate, but it was close. Keep in mind, I mean 90% win rate with this deck. I didn't have a 90% win rate over the entire season. If I did, I'd be at like 1,800 points. But with this particular deck, I had 90% win rate, but I also lost a lot of games at the beginning, which kind of diluted my rating a lot. So you need, based on Perhelion's performance, you need about an 80% win rate to get to the top of the ladder with this. To give you an idea, in Hearthstone, that would blitz through rank 5 to 1 instantly, pretty much. And I think even in Legend, an 80% win rate would get you to rank 1 Legend very easily. So, I don't know, there's something there, but Hearthstone's rating system is less punishing, and as a result it's more appealing to a larger group of people. Anyway, on to the deck. Now, this is not exactly the same deck. This is the same archetype as I played in Asperia. I've already gone over this deck in my Asperia tournament recap thing. What do I call it? Tournament report? Yeah, anyway, I'll put the video in the description so you can go check that out. I'll also put this up on Spellweaver decks, and I'll put it in the description as well. Now, this deck is like, I don't know. I know I have a message. I'm just not going to show them on video. Anyway, this particular deck has performed absurdly well. It's, quite frankly, the most successful deck I've ever played, including Wisdom Dominion from 3 seasons ago. Including that deck. And I had a massive lead in that season, but that was because of the system more than the actual deck. The deck had like a really good win rate, had 100% for a couple of days, but over time, this is more consistent, and I just like the deck more, and it actually is a lot harder to play in Wisdom Dominion. It's a lot more rewarding of good plays, and it's not a deck you can just pick up and play. That's what I like about this kind of Advanced Never deck, and it's something which you can pick up and master and then do well with it. When I started playing this deck, I had a 60% win rate, which was still good, but then as I've played, the win rate has gone up over time. That's what I like about this kind of deck. Now, the edits I've made from Asperia was I took out the Tornado Outbreaks for Ambush Strikes. Honestly, these have won me quite a few games. Way more useful than Tornado Outbreak ever was. It's still one of the worst cards in the deck, but it has its uses. I don't want Forward Vigor, although I may try that in the future. But yeah, 2 Amber Strike, and then the other change was I put in a 3rd Elven Sanctuary. Still 20 shrines, but 3 Elvens. So that's it as far as the changes to this deck goes. Now, a couple of things I'm going to try in the future, if you want to kind of note down a few things to try, is 1 Amber Strike, maybe 4 Fae of Charm or 4 Word of Vigor. Try a 5 spell split that's slightly different. I might try 19 shrines and 21 shrines just to see if 20 is the right number. And just kind of mess around with a few things now that the points is not as much of an issue. But anyway, that about does it for my raiding race review thing, and also the deck, which ended up taking me to 1st place. So, thank you all for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you have any feedback, want to ask me any questions that are rating related or deck related, put it in the comment section below. As I said, I'll put the link to my Asperia tournament recap, what do I even call it, tournament report? Yeah, in the description, and there you can check out my full in-depth analysis of this Neva deck. And also, I will put this particular final version of this Advanced Neva deck in the description, so if you want it on the side, then go check it out there. But, as for now, this has been Jotto, signing off.